Alright, so finally the prospects from San Jose to Winnipeg. Took me a few days, been pretty busy. I'm also probably going to change the YouTube channel name, so if anyone's got any suggestions, let me hear it. So we're going to start with San Jose. So Timo Meier, he had a pretty good Memorial Cup, and last year he played in the Q. Had 52 games, 34 goals, 53 assists for 87 points, which you would expect for a 19, 20-year-old in the OHL. So he's going to be a top 9 role, maybe this year for the San Jose, and I can see him playing second or third line throughout his career. Then they have Mike Mueller, who played in the AHL last year. 50 games, 1 goal, 10 assists for 11 points. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a top 6 role with the team this year. But we'll have to wait and see. And then Jeremy Waugh, who played in the Q, had 40 games, 6 goals, 28 assists for 34 points. He also could be a top 6 to 4 from, say, 4 to 6 defender for San Jose in the future. So then we have Tampa Bay Lightning. Braden Point in the Western Hockey League had 48 games, 35 points, 53 assists for 88 points. He also was around the same age as Meyer, so you expect this point production out of him. Could make the team this year. Probably he's going to play in the AHL though, so we'll have to wait and see. And Slater Keok, I can't really say his name. When I did the Tampa Bay Lightning open night roster, I had him on my roster, so I see him being the top 7 defense this year. Probably the bottom pairing. Could make it up to the top 4, but probably just the bottom pairing this year. Then Brett Howden, who played in the Western Hockey League, had 68 games, 24 goals, 40 assists for 64 points. So just could be just like a depth player for them in the future. We'll have to wait and see. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is the team that I like, so I know quite a bit more about their prospects than all the other teams in the league. So obviously first is Austin Matthews, who played in the Swiss League. 36 games, 24 goals, 22 assists for 46 points. Of course, we're all hoping he's going to be that top line center that they've needed since Sundin left. And obviously it's not the same, but the World Cup of Hockey, he's looked pretty good. And last year, the World Championships, he looked pretty good too. So he has shown he can play against the NHL players, and he will be 19 coming in. He won't be 18, so just helps him out. So obviously he's going to be a top line center, hopefully. Then William Nylander could be a top line winger. Could easily play with Matthews most of the year this year. Last year in the AHL, he had 38 games, 18 goals, 27 assists for 45 points. Obviously, we've seen what Nylander can do in the NHL. He's shown some pretty good games, and obviously he's just young, so you're going to have those bad games, but he could very well be with Matthews most of his career, and just have to wait and see. Mitch Marner, another top line winger, although he does play the same position as William Nylander, so either way that's going to be a really good 1-2 punch in the future. 57 games for the Knights, he had 39 goals, 77 assists for 116 points, and obviously he dominated in the playoffs and the Calder Cup, so he had a really good year last year. I really hope he makes the team this year. If he does, I see him playing second or third line this year, and could easily be, he's being compared to Patrick Kane, which I can see, another small winger with lots of skill. So our top defensive prospect I have as Travis Dermott, a second rounder from last year. Wasn't really talked about too much, but he had a pretty good year for in the OHL for the Erie Otters. He had 51 games, 6 goals, 37 assists for 43 points, and he had a pretty good rookie tournament this year, so he's looking pretty good. And then a player that I really like is Tobias Lindberg. We got him from Ottawa Senators in the Phaneuf trade. I went and saw him play with the Marlies, and he looked really good. And he had a pretty good rookie tournament as well. So last year, 56 games, 11 goals, 23 assists for 34 points. So look for him. I really like him, so hopefully he makes it. So Vancouver Canucks, obviously their top is Olli Juolevi, but it could be a really dynamic player, top two defenseman. Last year, 57 games, 9 goals, 33 assists for 42 points. And then they have Thatcher Demko, who probably won't make the team this year unless Miller gets hurt or Markstrom gets hurt. Probably going to play in the AHL. Last year at Boston College, he had 27 wins, 8 losses, and 4 overtime losses, with a 1.88 goals against average and a 935 save percentage. So those are pretty good numbers, but he'll probably be on the Vancouver Canucks next year. And there's Brock Bozier, played for North Dakota, had 45 games, 27 goals, 33 assists for 60 points. He very well can make the team, and obviously they're hoping that he can produce. I see him being mid-6 player. I don't see him being a top-line winger. Obviously not right now because they have the Sedins and Louis Eriksson to submit their first line. So second or third line he could probably play. And then I have Brendan Gautz. 45 games in the AHL last year, 17 goals, 21 assists for 38 points. He's obviously could play a bottom 9 role for this team. And then we have Washington Capitals, who just keeps on producing good goaltenders. In the system, they have Ilya Samsonov, who last year in the KHL had 6 wins, 4 losses, and 3 overtime losses, which isn't the most amount of games, but he had pretty good numbers at 204 goals against average and a 925 save percentage, which is really good, so he could be a #1 goaltender. And then in the AHL, they had Jacob Verana, who had played 36 games, had 16 goals, 18 assists for 34 points. He could be a depth player for them this year. And then Madison Bowie, who I think has quite a bit of potential. It could be a top 4 defenseman in the NHL. Last year in the AHL, he had 70 games, 4 goals, 25 assists for 29 points. So obviously let him develop in the AHL last year. For the amount of games, it looks like they didn't really bring him up, and so he played most of them. And lastly, we have the Winnipeg Jets. So obviously, Patrick Laine would be one of their best prospects. He played in Finland last year, 46 games, 17 goals, 16 assists for 33 points. He could easily win the Rocket Richard Trophy. Not this year, obviously, but throughout his career, he can challenge. He's going to be a lot like Ovechkin, I feel. It's dynamic scorer. And Kyle Connor, who had played for Michigan last year, 38 games, had 35 goals, 36 assists for 71 points, which I was pretty surprised about. I didn't think I had seen his point total before. And for a 19-year-old in college, that's really good. And so looks like he's gonna be a top 6 forward. Maybe not this year for this team, but in the future, he's gonna probably make the team this year. And they have Josh Morrissey, who could squeak in the bottom 6 this year, but probably one more year in the AHL, then he's going to come up. Unless the contract status of Jacob Trouba lingers, then he might be able to come up this year. 57 games in the AHL, 3 goals, 19 assists for 22 points. And then they drafted Logan Stanley in the first round this year, who could be a big, obviously he's big, I think he's 6'7", but really good defensive defenseman, which every team needs. They're highly underrated, but every team really needs them. 64 games in the OHL, had 5 goals, 12 assists for 17 points. So obviously he's not going to put a whole bunch of points up, but he's going to be really reliable in the defensive zone. So yeah, just let me know if I missed anybody off of the teams that you like, what other videos you might want me to do. Obviously suggest what names you want me to maybe change my YouTube channel to, and like, comment, and subscribe, and have a nice day.